Hello, good people. Hamojambo sana. Karibu sana to my podcast YouTube channel. My name is Getrude Mungai. I'm a lifestyle designer on sex and relationships. Marriage is a scam with a cherry on top. Again, marriage is not a scam, people. It's all about compromise. That's what I want us to talk about today. If you don't learn to compromise, then you have no business getting married. You know what? Many times I tell people, you should not be in love with the person to get married, because love has got everything to do with feelings. You should be in love with marriage for you to get married. I know, sound like the same thing. No, they're not. Because if you're in love with a person and then they change, which they will, change has to happen. Because if there's no change, there's no growth. So maybe you're not gonna like the new change. Then what? Divorce, or you start running all over the place saying you have been scammed in a marriage? How about compromise? You have to compromise about everything and anything. And I'm not saying just you compromising. Two of you have to compromise depending on what is going on. But in order for you to compromise, you have to hear the other person out. Many times, we don't talk with one another. We talk at each other. We shout. Actually, there are people, and I'm so sick and tired of this, who believe talking is yelling, screaming, shouting. You know, you have to talk. You have to talk in a respectable way. You respect the other person. You know, even the way you are addressing the issues. Not a shouting match. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know? So, which area are these am I suggesting you compromise, if not everything and anything? So, many times, and I'm going to start with this because it's so common. You know, before start saying you have been scammed, many times you get married to somebody you're mismatched with. And I'm talking about libido-wise. Yeah, I know, here I am again talking about sex. I'm a sex therapist. I'm a lifestyle designer or sex and relationship. You know? So, because this is also one of the frequently asked questions. What happens when our libidos don't match? I call you guys mismatched couple. And sometimes when they say, if you're mismatched, you're thinking, he has a bigger Mr. Victor, I have a teeny tiny, if there's anything like teeny tiny Mr. Victor. No. Mismatched libido. Okay? You want to have sex a lot more often than he does, or he wants to have sex a lot more often. Let's take it even further than that. He wants to have sex at night just before we go to bed. Majority of the men like that. She wants to have sex early in the morning because women are more turned on. They feel more sensual when they've had a good night rest or when they are well rested. Yeah. So she wants to have sex early in the morning. She likes her morning glory. He loves it just before he goes to bed. So what happens? You don't have sex at all because your times don't match? No, you compromise. Okay? Tonight, we have sex just before we go to bed. 2 days later, we have sex right in the morning. Another day, we have sex at the middle of the night. I'm not a fan of that. I'll rather before I go to bed or early in the morning. This middle of the night, because some people, if you're like me, sex makes you hyperactive. It doesn't endorse sleep. Majority of the men, sex endorse sleep. For me, I will be up and alert for a while, but when I fall asleep, I will sleep deeply. So if you wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, when do I get around to sleep? Because there's the love making, and then there's the cleaning ceremony. Oh yeah, story for another day. By the time I've touched water, we've done the cleaning ceremony, I'm up. You know, the guy is deep asleep. I'm always envious. Before he will be one to chat, he wants to cuddle. These days, I guess it's the 25 years in marriage. Oh, he rolls over and is asleep. That's why I don't like it at the middle of the night. You know, so to compromise, we've come up with those schedules, either early in the morning or late, you know, just before we go to bed. Compromise, people. That's not a big deal. You know, figure it out and see, but hear the other person first. Why do they like? I've just, you know, briefly explained to you how men like it and how women like it. Majority of the men, majority, at least say everyone, they like it before they go to bed because it induces sleep. It releases some tension, you know. And women, after they've had a good night's sleep, don't be alarmed when your wife wakes up on top of you. It's a good thing, okay? The other thing, mismatch in the way you express your love. You know, I like, you know, spending quality time. To me, I'm that kind of a person. What do you like? You know, maybe you like to be gifted all the time. You like gifts, you know, and maybe another person loves every time to be affirmed, you know. Oh, you're such a good wife, such a good mom, you're such a good cook. Oh, you're the best homemaker. Oh, thank you, honey. You do so much for us. Maybe that's all she wants to hear. She doesn't care about gifts, you know. So different people like different things. What do you like? And half the time, you're going to get married to a spouse who loves something totally different. Why not compromise? It's not a big deal for you to actually pack your bags and leave, or yelling, running all over the place, start saying marriage is a scam. It can be fixed. So what do you like? You know? So find out and come to some sort of a compromise. We suit both of you. And I'm not saying you totally abandon who you are, you know, to fit in the other person's life. Trust me, it's not sustainable. You're going to do it when everything is working out. And when I talk about compromise, people, it's not when things are thick. Things are not working out. Things are bad. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you can't even look at each other in the eye. That is the best time to compromise. When everything is working out, compromise is not a big deal. You will even offer to compromise. Well, when you go to a place where everybody's taking a hard stand, that's when your marriage needs, one of you needs to compromise. Good luck. Okay? Something else, which I had to make some notes because I can forget. Biggest compromise, dealing with extended family, dealing with the laws. You can't just have rules which are cast on stone. You can't. If it's beyond the two of you, major compromise needs to be made. You know, your husband might not control who his mother is. Your wife might not control who the sisters are. How do you compromise, the two of you? So you don't let, excuse me, you don't let other people interfere. You know, and sometimes it's not even the mothers or the fathers or the siblings. Sometimes it's other extended family who don't have, you know, the best at heart for you guys. They can cause havoc. So instead of taking sides, biggest way to compromise is actually telling each other, I've got your back. I will protect you from my family if you protect me from yours. Because if I go to my family and tell them, please don't stop, don't do this, I'm their child, I'm their sister, I'm their brother, they will understand. They will, yeah, maybe they will not be happy, but it's not going to be as bad as my husband coming to tell my sisters, my brothers, my mom, my dad, don't, never. It's not going to be, it will not come out right. So let him deal with his family to protect you. You deal with your family to protect your spouse. I think that's a very good compromise. Let's try that and see if it's not going to work. Chances are it will relieve some tension. Okay? Dealing with baby mamas. I know this is going to be a topic on its own, but dealing with baby mamas. You as a couple, you've got to have each other's back, especially the person who has a child outside. I know many times you think it's the man. Sometimes it's the woman. My mom went into her marriage with us, my sister and I, and a brother. My stepdad came into the family with kids from his first marriage. They both needed to compromise, agreed, and communicate to everybody else involved. You know, I once talked to a lady and she said, and they're public figures, so their business is all over social media. And they were like, what? This thing is not easy. You know, and even when you're having communication, for some reason, this information leaks out and it hits you like a truck. And she was very sensitive about it. If it was just me and my husband, we can deal with this. We're public figures, you know. But there are those kids who also read those comments and they see. You meet this child, they read a comment. You didn't even say it came from somebody else who pretended to know how I feel. Yeah, so we sat down and we decided these are the needs for this child. I will help you. Okay? So if this lady is up to no good, whatever it is she needs, she can come through me. And if she's genuine, all she has is the kid taken care of, then we'll sort it out. Or have some system. So this does not become the worst thing that is messing up your marriage and start calling, complaining and saying marriage is a scam. Unless somebody is up to no good. Then the other person will be scammed for real. Okay? Something else? Investments. Saving and investments. Oh my goodness, my husband and I, most of the time, we are not on the same page. If it were left up to me, I can tell you. You know me, I live for today. Okay, not that I don't save, but I'm thinking, I need to live now. I'll save for the future, but okay, and my husband is the one, let's save and save and save. I feel like many times it cuts life out of me, but I kind of need him to ground me. And he needs me to have more fun. So other than it being a compromise, we complement each other. That way, nobody's complaining, And yeah, this sometimes has to be addressed, if not on weekly basis, on monthly basis. But so what? It is a compromise. At least we know matter arises, we have to address it. Compromise, people. Don't just throw in the towel. Compromise. Okay? Something else? Budgets allocation. I tell you, couples can be as different and opposite as day and night. There are some spouses who believe in big cars, others big houses, and others, expensive schools or neighborhoods. For some reason, many couples are not on the same page. And this can actually dent your marriage. Again, we compromise. I would say list down the most important things you guys keep fighting about. And decide. Ask him, which is your number one priority? I'll give it to you. And you'll give me my number one priority. Keep checking one by one, before you realize it's aired out. Yeah? So last but not least, I'm sure I didn't talk about everything, but you get the point. Imagine social lives. Even that you guys have to discuss. I have seen couples where, again, they're so opposite. One is always out and about, having fun, doing this, and the other one is at home. Yeah? And they're wondering. They need to compromise. The one who loves going out would love to go with their spouse, but the spouse will not budge. It's not my life. And the more she goes out or the more he goes out, the more they resent them. That is who they are. Can you meet them halfway? I bet if you say we'll go out some of the nights, she'll cut down on the other nights. Look forward to you going out together. Okay? And maybe decide now we are staying, just me, you, wines, a glass of wine and a blanket, watching a movie. We don't go anywhere. That's also a compromise. Yeah? But what is actually now the biggest problem is couples can be home together, but everybody's on their phone. There's a guy who told me, my goodness, the kind of hours my wife spends on social media, it's unbelievable. I can just imagine if she spares only 2 hours in a day to do other things other than social media, life is going to be different. So instead of compromising, decided, I'm not doing this. See, you're on social media. This will stay undone, and this will stay undone. You do it. You have a lot of time in your hands, so you're not even going to have a helper. The more you have such hard stance, the more you're going to suffer in your marriage because of little things. I don't know what you're struggling with, but I can assure you, whatever it is, there is room for compromise. Both ways. Yeah, like I said, this might not be sexual, but this will definitely interfere with your bedroom life. If you don't learn to compromise and you are a man, be ready to have a lot of dry spells. If you don't want to compromise and you are a woman, be ready. Your husband is going to pull away emotionally because they are very good at that. And then what? Is it going to make you happier? I doubt it. Life is short. I've survived death twice. Trust me when I tell you life is short. Right now, I am living. I'm enjoying each and every moment of it. I don't want to waste a lot of time fighting over social media, fighting over his people, fighting. No, it's not worth it. My name is Getrude Mungai, and I'm a lifestyle designer on sex and relationship. This is Marriage is a Scam with a cherry on top. And this is me telling you, marriage is not a scam. It's all about compromises. Please subscribe to my podcast, to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. The name is still the same, Getrude Mungai. Come to Tetezo Show and I'll hook you up. Mwah!